What's good, y'all? It's the one and only Nappyhead Fred coming back to y'all with another album review. Today, we are going to be reviewing Benny the Butcher, Tana Talk 3. This is Benny the Butcher's first studio album released November 23rd, 2018 under Griselda Records and the Sobrano family. That's pretty impressive. Without any further ado, though, let's hop into it.
I'm from a cold city, West Sides and Conways. Ain't no biggies when niggas barely 20 and rich. They all
First song we have on this album is Badas. Badas. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I think for an intro song, I think it is a pretty good start to the album. I definitely enjoyed the production and how nostalgic it is. It kind of gives you that old school sampling that I feel like was pretty good within the production. And overall, I do feel like the beat type was honestly well put together. It isn't nothing too crazy, I will admit it, but I feel like for a slow-paced kind of song, it definitely is good for storytelling. Which, getting into the storytelling, that's pretty much the best part about this whole song is just him describing like the hard times he went through to get to this point, and I feel like it's definitely inspiring in a lot of ways. Obviously, him just missing a lot of birthdays, missing a lot of Christmases, I feel like he was able to explain his struggles, kind of just maintaining kind of that everyday lifestyle that I feel like he dreamed of, but he wasn't able to get to. So overall, I feel like for an intro song, it's definitely a very good start, but as a single song, I'm not really like listening to it back to back, if you know what I mean. It's not a song that you would listen to on repeat. But I can honestly say it's a pretty good song at the end of the day.
I stole a pack, then I sold it back. We rolling lack and got full of gats with shoulder straps. It's Brazil.
Next song we got on here is Good Night. I would personally say one of my favorite songs throughout this album, if not one of my favorite songs in probably Benny the Butcher's catalog. I think this song had a very, very strong start, especially on the production side. It definitely gave you that kind of dark, sinister sound in the background with a really good beat type to go along with it. But I feel like the most impressive part is just having that sampling of Busta Rhymes saying y'all, 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 like that iconic kind of sound that he had in, I would say, the mid to late 90s. I thought that was a really nice touch, and it kind of brought me back. Not that I was back in the 90s, but I think y'all get the point. So I feel like for nostalgic purposes, the production meets high expectations, and it's very enjoyable, I will say that. But getting into the lyrics, I feel like Benny Butcher had so many punchlines on here that I thought was very impressive. His rhyme schemes were definitely well put together. He was able to flow through the track very, very well. And overall, I just feel like he did his thing on this song. I definitely enjoy this song still to this day. It definitely still sounds good, even for a 2018 song. So definitely, I would say one of the more underrated songs on this album.
I know you feel it, but it's realer in person. Where I'm from, young niggas, killers, bitches, strippers, and nurses.
Next song we got on here is Scarface versus Sosa Part 2. I do feel a little held back because I have not listened to part 1, but it definitely makes me want to listen to part 1 because I think this song is definitely really good as well. I feel like when we talk about the production, it isn't nothing too crazy, but it is something that I feel like keeps a good pace, especially with him matching up to the storytelling aspect of it. I said aspect. I meant aspect of it. So overall, I do feel like the production is acceptable. Like I said, it's not really nothing crazy. I don't feel like the beat type is even that crazy. But I do enjoy the sound of it every now and then. It just has this kind of ongoing, like, weary sound that is very dark, but like I said, pretty enjoyable still. And I feel like when we talk about lyrics, storytelling wise was honestly very iconic. Him talking about the iconic like story of the Scarface movie, of course, that ironically I had never seen yet, just not a full clip of it. I've only seen clips of it is basically what I meant to say, but I have not seen the whole movie. But him kind of giving me that vision of what I'm basically listening to, I feel like what makes it a really good storytelling song. So, all in all, this may not be a song necessarily I would listen to all the time, but I feel like maybe once a week I could go back and be like, okay, let me listen to this song again.
Look, I got 10 niggas with me, all body catchers. That's 10 straps and Air Max 97.
Next song we got on here is Rubber Bands and Weight. I thought this song was definitely very interesting compared to the other songs that I previously just named. I feel like mainly because of the storytelling aspect of it, I do feel like, he's definitely given a good perspective of when you have other plans, don't like get anything involved in those plans. Like if you got a plan set out for today, focus on those plans. Don't try to make other plans on top of that if you already have your plan set out for today. So I feel like important messaging was definitely needed, but I feel like the production overall was definitely really dope too. It definitely brought that sinister sound again, but very nostalgic sampling that I think was honestly pretty solid as well. And I feel like overall the hook of the song was honestly the most catchiest part because he just said, hold the plans and wait, like he just wait on the plans pretty much. And I feel like for the most part it somewhat sounded like a verse, but it was really a hook. So overall I feel like the hook is good, but it's not bad. Or am I saying that right? I think y'all get what I'm saying. Like it's not good, but it's not like bad. It's just like kind of in the middle of being okay, I guess. So definitely a song I could listen to often. I think it gets the respect where it's due. So definitely a great song.
Look, I don't regret the homies I cut off or the bitches I canceled. A blade in the kitchen, gripping a pie hand.
Next song we got on here is Fast Eddie. I think this song was definitely really dope. I love the production right off the bat. It definitely just gives you that real 90s feel of just like a crime scene that is about to happen, and I think that's really cool. I think him basically envisioning me into like a crime scene like kind of situation I think was really cool with the storytelling. I feel like his flow within this song was honestly really good as well. But I feel like overall the production definitely matched the energy of Benny the Butcher. I feel like he was very aggressive on this song. I feel like he was able to stay within the context of Fast Eddie. And honestly, this is definitely just one of those songs that I feel like many people don't pay attention to, and I feel like it's very underrated within this album, if not his entire catalog. So another really dope song, honestly.
My squad tagging shit, y'all catch attempts. Leave the house, have some sense, nigga. Grab a...
Next song we got on here is Broken Bottles. I feel like this song isn't bad. I just had a hard time really enjoying it, and I'll tell y'all the reason why. I feel like from a production aspect, it wasn't too bad. I do like the creativity of just having that different sound. It is kind of more of that darker production throughout the whole album, but I couldn't really vibe with it the way I wanted it to, and I just feel like something was missing. And then when we get onto the lyrics, I feel like the lyrics are pretty good, but I feel like his cadence on here wasn't really that impressive. The flow was kind of off within the beat. I feel like the hook was honestly just not really there all the way. I just feel like overall, this song is like one of those songs that I feel like was kind of rushed and not really focused as much. So it was kind of disappointing. I do still like the storytelling aspect, but I just don't like really the flow and the cadence of Benny the Butcher on this particular song. So out of all songs, this is one of the more disappointing ones, but it's not really the worst song on the album because I'm going to just say this now, I don't really think there's necessarily a bad song within this album. I'm going to just hint that right away, but it's just one of those songs that you kind of like scoff at a little bit. So I would just say it's okay.
From a quiet town, but shit getting hostile. You know my style, we got straps stockpile.
Next song we got on here is Echo Long featuring Westside Gunn and Mayhem Lauren. I feel like this song was Was cool. I think it was acceptable for the most part. I was questionable on the production. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I just feel like the production was kind of like this ongoing kind of sound that kind of got a little annoying after a while. But I feel like the beat type was cool for the most part, but it's not really a song I would listen to often due to kind of this ongoing sound with the production that kind of gets old after a while. But getting into the lyrics, I feel like the lyrics were good. I feel like West Side Gun's part was probably the most underrated because he's probably the most energetic out of the whole Griselda group. He just brings that energy, and just the ad libs are iconic, of course. But I feel like him as a hook was honestly very acceptable. But honestly, I just don't feel like I took much from this song because there just wasn't enough to really pay attention or keep me engaged. But honestly, I would say it's still a pretty good song. It's just not a song I would listen to often because it just doesn't really bring that kind of energy that I would hope, at least from Benny the Butcher's aspect.
Born in 84, but I'm like 97 hoes. I went platinum off a brick, I cooked on 97 stoves. Yeah, I know the
Next song we got on here is 97 Hove. Obviously, if y'all don't know what 97 Hove is, it's basically Jay-Z in 1997, which is ironic because 1997 he dropped In My Lifetime, which I think is a very underrated album of Jay-Z's. Y'all probably should listen to it at some point. But obviously, kind of just breaking down his own individual career compared to like Jay-Z, how they kind of have like somewhat of similar careers, even though they're both from different, cities and states in general. But I feel like his storytelling of breaking that down, I thought was very, very cool. I enjoyed the production and the beat switch. I feel like from a different production was honestly really good too. I feel like songs like this definitely gives me kind of a Mobb Deep kind of vibe where I could hear Mobb Deep killing this beat. And not to say Benny the Butcher didn't, but I could just envision Mobb Deep being on this kind of song. So I definitely enjoyed this song, especially the switch of the production towards like the middle of the song. I thought was really dope. And it just brings a lot of nostalgic, and that's what I think I like about Benny the Butcher. He kind of brings like that old school feel back to hip hop, and he does it at a very high level. It's very surprising.
hustlers that's getting money, thinking fast and business, who stayed up by playing smart and ducking bad decisions. I wore hand-me-downs.
Next song we got on here is Joe Pesci 38. I think this song is definitely really important. Not to say the other songs aren't, but I feel like there's a definitely important message within this particular song. I feel like from a storytelling aspect, I think he was able to explain how most rappers that explain, hood stories and just crimes that they do, they don't really explain it enough for it to be believable. And I feel like when we base it on nowadays, it's basically still like that today, where rappers do just kind of explain, oh, I killed this dude or I smoked this dude and all this other stuff, but they don't really like break it down to the point where it's engaging. Now, that might sound crazy either way you take it, because obviously you don't want to explain exactly how you killed somebody because you can obviously get arrested for that. But the thing is, I feel like he was able to break it down. Like, you shouldn't be talking about this kind of stuff if you really ain't about that kind of stuff, basically. But I do feel like getting into the production, which I kind of skipped over because I thought the storytelling was that good. The production is definitely very like melodic and just old school kind of feel to it. It definitely sounds like something from the 70s. And I feel like it's very enjoyable. It has a really nice beat type. He was able to flow through the track very well. Honestly, I would say one of the more underrated songs within this album.
I ain't gonna even lie. I be having things on my mind all of the time that I think I need. And I be knowing that I ain't gonna need.
Next song we got on here is Who Are You featuring Royce the 5'9" and Milena Rutherford. Hopefully I said her name right. I think this song was honestly pretty cool. Definitely a surprise feature from Royce the 5'9". I meant to do a Royce the 5'9" album review at some point, but y'all just brace for that. But I feel like this song was definitely pretty good. I feel like the production, there's not much there. I feel like there's obviously a really good sampling, but there's no crazy beat type. There's no crazy bass to it. It's really just an ongoing sampling sound that's like you know, kind of a couple people like humming in the background in some way. But I do feel like the lyrics from Benny and obviously Royce the 5'9". I'll talk about Royce first since he was to start off the track. I do feel like his performance was definitely well put together. He was able to flow through the track very well. Lyrics were definitely really dope. And then going into the Benny the Butcher side, I think he did exceptionally well as well. So I think they both work very well together. Definitely hope to hear some more music from both of them because I feel like they kind of share similar backgrounds in certain ways. So to me, this is one of the more underrated songs only due to the rap performance. But I feel like as a sound in general, it isn't something you would play like in your car or just at a club or nothing. It's really just a subtle song that has really dope lyrics.
Smoking grapes and went to war with a poker face. Load the 8, get the drop, then when you load your safe.
Next song we got on here is 51 featuring Westside Gunn. I thought this song was honestly pretty good. I definitely enjoyed the production aspect of it. I feel like the production with the creative piano sound in there and a really good beat type and just having that ongoing like sampling sound in the background I thought was a really, really dope touch. So I definitely enjoyed the production a lot from that aspect. But I feel like getting into the lyrics, I feel like Benny the Butcher was straight just freestyling on this. I mean, he literally just had some really dope lines on here. I wish I could repeat them, but I don't want to really cause any altercations with that. But I feel like his lyrics were definitely dope. Some really good wordplay and some really quotable lyrics that I've heard in most of other songs, but definitely really dope in general. And I feel like Westside Gunn's part was cool as well, but I feel like every time I listen to him, I always just listen for the ad-libs. I don't know why, but the ad-libs are just the most iconic part about Westside Gunn. So I do feel like overall this is definitely one of the more underrated songs within the album. And it's pretty enjoyable if I'm being honest. Like I just feel like you're listening to a good freestyle-like song.
Rap the Yang crews, stacking making moves. My young niggas tossing caps like they just graduated school. Look.
Next song we got on here is Rick. Honestly, one of the dopest songs within the album. Man, his performance on here is crazy. I feel like when we talk about the production, I feel like the production is pretty cool. It definitely had a really nice beat type. The ongoing violin kind of sound in the background I thought was a really nice touch. So from a creativity standpoint, it definitely holds up pretty well, and it also just brings that nostalgic feel of just that 90s hip hop underground kind of beat type. But I feel like going into the lyrics, he was spitting, dog. Like he had some amazing punchlines. He even had lines that literally flew over my head that I had to listen to again and really analyze wait, that makes so much sense. That's what this song made me do, and I'm just like, dude, he's a genius. So overall, I think y'all know my opinion on this. I think this is honestly an amazing song. I would argue probably the best song within the album. That's a very hot take, but this song is crazy, man. Y'all have to listen to it, and honestly, I think it's one of the more underrated songs within this album, if not the most underrated song in Benny the Butcher's entire catalog.
Yo, sometimes a nigga feel like y'all dead. I put my life in these songs and still feel like y'all slept.
Next song we got on here is Langfield. I think this song was honestly pretty dope. The storytelling aspect I think is the most important part within the song. But getting into the production, I feel like the production was honestly cool. It definitely gave you that higher end quality production that you maybe don't hear throughout maybe the first part of the album, but I feel like within this song, you definitely hear the good quality sound and just honestly just the nice what can I say, instruments in the background I thought was really nice touch. But I feel like overall, like I said, the storytelling aspect was really good. Just him explaining his background being in jail and just almost just talking about a movie cinematic view from it, I thought was really cool. And I feel like, again, I enjoy a good storytelling song when I can envision what I'm hearing. So I thought that was really dope. But overall, I feel like he flowed through the track very well. I feel like he was able to keep up with the pace, match the energy of the production overall. And it definitely gave you kind of that mafioso kind of sound to it. So that was definitely really good as well.
I put the truth on every page I jotted. I slang narcotics from the steps of my crib. My mom.
The last song we have on this album is All 70 featuring Conway. I think this song was. I think it was okay because I feel like the production was way too simple. It's basically like an ongoing guitar sound with really no beat type, and it's just. I feel like it's overpowering their lyrics where you can't really understand them because the production of the guitar sound is like that loud. So I feel like from a production side, I'm definitely giving it a thumbs down because they could have made it more quieter so we can understand the lyrics a little better. But it just felt like something they kind of threw in and just say, you know what, let's just rap over this and make this the last song. So I feel like rap performance wise, I feel like it was okay. It's just I couldn't really like understand them half of the time. I feel like you would have to have like really good ears to really just understand them, and even then I feel like you would just have to look at the lyrics at that point cuz it just wasn't their voice really wasn't sounded enough over the like guitar sampling or whatever. So I feel like that's what kind of ruined it for me. So overall, if I had to choose the worst song on the album, it probably would be this because I just don't it just didn't bring that for me. And I know I said earlier there wouldn't be necessarily a bad song on this album, but this song is the worst song within the album. So I'll probably just put it like that. All right, y'all, it's time to break this album down with the 6 credentials I have within this album, and they will be production, features, rap performance, context, creativity, and album cover. So let's get started. First, let's break down the production. I feel like the production was definitely very, very acceptable. I was a little iffy on just kind of the sampling and kind of that old school feel to it that I don't feel like it's really popular anymore. But I feel like he did very well with how he utilized each kind of production in a very creative way. Like I feel like there were certain sounds that were added into the samplings that I think were really good. I feel like he was able to match the energy overall of the production. And I feel like it's just one of those productions that definitely took me off guard of being very acceptable. So if I had to rate the production 1 through 10, I'm definitely giving it a 9. Next we got is features. I feel like him obviously featuring Conway and Westside Gunn and obviously Royce the 5'9". I think they all had pretty iconic performances. I'm not like crazy about the features though, only because I feel like he did the right thing by putting those guys in and not putting like people that are like really big mainstream rappers for the most part. So I definitely appreciate the features. It's not strong enough to like get a 10 out of 10 for me, but I would honestly give it a good 7 out of 10. Next, we got rap performance. Like I said, there were a lot of lines that went over my head that I had to go back to. Definitely acceptable lyricists and just bringing that pure gangster rap back to hip hop because it definitely went away for a little bit. It just wasn't as popular as it was in the early 90s to like mid 2000s, but I feel like he was able to keep a good pace, a steady flow. His cadence wasn't nothing too crazy, but his storytelling was amazing. And I feel like from rap performance I'm trying to talk all fast, but from a rap performance perspective, I gotta give him a 10 out of 10 on this one. Next up, we got context. I feel like the context he definitely stayed on par with. Talking about obviously drug talk, being in jail, growing up in the hood, having rough times, just basically the hood politics of anybody's